Hello, guys. Hello again, Regina. Hello, Thiago. Busy
Hello,
week
teacher.
again.
Yes, this week was hard to participate.
Yes, I noticed.
Yeah.
Well, glad that you are here. Okay, better late
Okay.
than never.
Yes.
All right. Hello again, Regina, Erika, Mario. Okay.
Hello again.
All right. Okay, Raquel is also here. Raquel. Okay, for the ones that were here yesterday, do you remember where we stopped? Were we reading that article about Thelma to Montgomery? Yes,
We start reading.
we have started. Yes,
Yes, we have started.
excellent. Okay, so let's continue from there then. Let's try to finish. Before you say something, I'm just trying to find the screen to share here, okay?
Okay.
Don't need to shout yet. Just to
Oh.
But as you know, there are. Let me see if she's already here. No, she's not
Raquel
here
is
yet.
here.
Oh yes, yes. I think she's taking a break. She hasn't screamed yet. Okay, so this is the material. Okay, can you see the material?
Yes.
Okay, as there are many new words, especially abbreviations and blah blah blah. I'd like you to listen again one more time, especially for words that you have never seen before, just to pay attention to the pronunciation and the sound of it. And after you said we started reading, so after we finish reading, okay? Claudia is also here.
Okay.
Yes, I think it's very important, especially if you try to read as you listen, read along, as they say it, okay? Let's go.
Okay.
Selma to Montgomery March. In early 1965, Martin Luther King Jr.'s Southern Christian Leadership Conference, SCLC, made Selma, Alabama, the focus of its efforts to register black voters in the South. That March, protesters attempting to march from Selma to the state capital of Montgomery were met with violent resistance by state and local authorities. As the world watched, the protesters, under the protection of federalized National Guard troops, finally achieved their goal, walking around the clock for 3 days to reach Montgomery. The historic march, and King's participation in it, greatly helped raise awareness of the difficulty faced by black voters in the South, and the need for a Voting Rights Act, passed later that year. Voter registration efforts in Selma. Even after the Civil Rights Act of 1964 forbade discrimination in voting on the basis of race, efforts by civil rights organizations such as the Southern Christian Leadership Council, SCLC, and the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, SNCC, to register black voters met with fierce resistance in southern states such as Alabama. In early 1965, Martin Luther King Jr. and SCLC decided to make Selma, located in Dallas County, Alabama, the focus of a voter registration campaign. Alabama Governor George Wallace was a notorious opponent of desegregation, and the local county sheriff in Dallas County had led a steadfast opposition to black voter registration drives. As a result, only 2% of Selma's eligible black voters, 300 out of 15,000, had managed to register. Did you know? Ralph Bunche, who participated in the Selma to Montgomery March with Martin Luther King Jr., won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1950 for his successful negotiation of an Arab-Israeli truce in Palestine a year earlier. King had won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1964, and his higher profile would help draw international attention to Selma during the eventful months that followed. On February 18, white segregationists attacked a group of peaceful demonstrators in the nearby town of Marion. In the ensuing chaos, an Alabama state trooper fatally shot Jimmy Lee Jackson, a young African-American demonstrator. In response to Jackson's death, King and the SCLC planned a massive protest march from Selma to the state capital of Montgomery, 54 miles away. A group of 600 people set out on Sunday, March 7, but didn't get far before Alabama state troopers wielding whips, nightsticks and tear gas rushed the group at the Edmund Pettus Bridge and beat them back to Selma. The brutal scene was captured on television, enraging many Americans and drawing civil rights and religious leaders of all faiths to Selma in protest. A historic march. King himself led another attempt on March 9, but turned the marchers around when state troopers again blocked the road. That night, a group of segregationists beat another protester, the young white minister James Reeb, to death. Alabama state officials, led by Wallace, tried to prevent the march from going forward, but a U.S. District Court judge ordered them to permit it. President Lyndon Johnson also backed the marchers, going on national television to pledge his support and lobby for passage of new voting rights legislation he was introducing in Congress. Some 2,000 people set out from Selma on March 21, protected by U.S. Army troops and Alabama National Guard forces that Johnson had ordered under federal control. After walking some 12 hours a day and sleeping in fields along the way, they reached Montgomery on March 25. Nearly 50,000 supporters, black and white, met the marchers in Montgomery, where they gathered in front of the state capitol to hear King and other speakers, including Ralph Bunche, winner of the 1950 Nobel Peace Prize, address the crowd. "No tide of racism can stop us," King proclaimed from the building's steps, as viewers from around the world watched the historic moment on television. Lasting impact. On March 17, 1965, even as the Selma to Montgomery marchers fought for the right to carry out their protest, President Lyndon Johnson addressed a joint session of Congress, calling for federal voting rights legislation to protect African Americans from barriers that prevented them from voting. That August, Congress passed the Voting Rights Act, which guaranteed the right to vote, first awarded by the 15th Amendment, to all African Americans. Specifically, the Act banned literacy tests as a requirement for voting, mandated federal oversight of voter registration in areas where tests had previously been used, and gave the U.S. Attorney General the duty of challenging the use of poll taxes for state and local elections. Along with the Civil Rights Act, the Voting Rights Act was one of the most expansive pieces of civil rights legislation in American history. Its effects greatly reduced the disparity between black and white voters in the U.S. and allowed a greater number of African Americans to enter political life at the local, state and national level.
All right. So as I told you, this was something quite important in the American history and also in the fight for the end of the racial discrimination that existed and persisted in the South for a long time, almost 100 years after the abolishment of slavery, okay? A lot. You don't imagine how much discrimination and segregation. I think we read the first paragraph yesterday. Is that right or no?
Correct.
Is that, Claudia?
Yes, but I think we read a little bit more.
Yes, the
Not
second-
only the first one, but I don't remember where
I
we
think now
stopped.
is, did you know?
Did you know?
You talked
Yes,
about
because
steadfast.
steadfast, yes, Carol
Yes.
asked me what was steadfast. Okay, so did you know? Because I didn't, okay? Hi, Isa. Raquel,
Hi, teacher.
hello again. How are you feeling now? A long one or a little one?
A long one.
Okay, I'll give you all the way to 50 miles away.
Okay.
Did you know? I
Did you
didn't.
know?
Ralph Bunch.
Who participated in the Selma to Montgomery March with Martin Luther King Jr., won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1950 for his successful negotiation of an Arab-Israeli
truce
truce in Palestine.
Israeli.
Truce in Palestine a year earlier. King had won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1964, and his higher profile would help draw international attention to Selma during the eventful months that followed. On February 18, white segregationists attacked a group of peaceful demonstrators in the nearby town of Marion. In the ensuing chaos, an Alabama state trooper fatally shot Jimmy Lee Jackson, a young African-American demonstrator. In response to Jackson's death, King and the SCLC planned a massive protest march from the Selma to the state capital of Montgomery, 54 miles away.
Okay. Any question about this part?
Truce.
Read the entire sentence. Isn't it possible to understand the idea of it or no? How is the situation between Arabs and Jewish people? Israelis? Is it good or bad?
Bad.
Bad.
Is it something recent or it's been going on for a long time?
A long time.
I think before I was born, they were already fighting, okay? I think it's an endless war there, okay? They are constant in battles. But this was an agreement. A truce is a sort of an agreement, a peace agreement between the Arabs and the Israelis in Palestine or Palestine. I've heard both pronunciations, okay? I don't remember how the person here said, if she said Palestine or Palestine. I've heard both, okay? But truth is like an agreement, okay?
Okay.
Any other question about this part or no?
No.
Raquel,
Can you pronunciate again Arab Israeli?
oh, just say Israel.
Israel.
Okay, now just say Israeli. Just add an I.
Israel. Israeli.
Yeah, Israel, Israel, Israeli.
Israeli.
Okay?
Okay.
Yes, Israel, Israeli. Okay? It's just one more letter. It's like a suffix. Remember when we talked?
Yeah.
The
Yes.
break at the prefix at the suffix. So Israel, Israeli. And another word that involves the use of a prefix is and, su. Okay? Plus ing.
Where?
Okay, here.
Okay, in the ensuing chaos.
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 Yes. You see, you mispronounce it. I heard something like ensuing or something like, yeah, but it comes from the verb to sue. Sue. So
okay.
I add the prefix en, sue, and then I add the ing, ensuing chaos. Okay? That means in the chaos that came as a result of this. Understand? Ensuing chaos, an Alabama state trooper fatally shot. Okay? So these recent protests that took place in the United States, it's nothing new. Understand? They've been doing that for many, many years, shooting innocent African-American people, understand, for no reason at all, like here. An Alabama state trooper fatally shot Jimmy Lee Jackson, a young African-American demonstrator. So it's not the first time. Okay, this last guy, I don't remember his name. I'm sorry about that. You can blame me, but my memory fails me. But I know the guy, I know the city, but I just don't remember his name. But anyway, it's just one more. Every day they are doing that.
Teacher,
Unfortunately.
Yes.
demonstrator is a profession?
Uh,
Here
oh,
yes, here yes.
Thiago, that's a very good question, okay? I would not say that it's a professional with, like, let's say, a fixed or an agreed salary and all the benefits, okay, or the perks from it. But in Brazil, I would say that if you always protest, if you are a protester or a demonstrator for the one of the, let's say, the most common political parties in Brazil, I've heard that you always get a bologna sandwich and 50
Yes.
reais to participate in the protest. So in this case, it can be a profession, understand? All right.
Okay.
But you are asking this because of the suffix demonstrator, yes?
Yeah, maybe because the word demonstrator, I'm confused if it's a synonym for protester or what
It's,
really means in this case, the
well,
word for the young.
in this case, it means that he was one of the participants of the demonstration. Understand?
Oh, okay, okay.
A
Ah, okay.
demonstration or a
Okay,
protest
now I
are very
understand.
similar. Are very
Yeah.
similar. Okay. Yeah, he was not an African American decorator. At that moment, he was there only as a demonstrator, participating of a demonstration.
Yeah,
Okay.
now I understand. In the sentence above, the word a group
Yes.
of peaceful demonstrators. Now it
Yes.
makes sense.
Exactly. He was
Okay,
just a
okay.
peaceful demonstrator. Okay. That is not his profession. Okay. I think
Okay,
he did not receive to be a demonstrator. Okay. But
okay.
in Brazil, you can always get a bologna sandwich. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
I've heard that they recruited many of the people that exiled to Brazil from Haiti. You know, the guys didn't even speak Portuguese, but they received some money just to be present at the pro Lula demonstrations, you know, that took place in the southern part of Brazil. All right. I don't know. I've heard stories. I'm away from Brazil, so I don't even know if it's true or not. Any other question about this or no? Can we go on? Isa is anxious
Go
to
on.
read her part. Right, Isa?
Always.
Yes. Where is our second student? Non-paying student. Okay.
Caramelo.
Yeah, but I think the real name is not Carmel, is it?
No, it's Galega.
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 Galega. What is the meaning of this word? Isn't it
Blondie. When
blondie?
you have yes, when you have the yellow hair, blondie hair.
You're kidding me, really?
No, yes, truly.
Galega.
When a person have
Holy moly.
have a
I know what's a blondie. Yes,
yes
everyone knows.
here
Right, John?
here we say it galega. A person is galega.
I, honestly speaking, I had never heard that expression before to refer to a blondie.
We use it a lot.
If you say so, okay.
Okay.
Who am I to disagree? Okay.
A group of 600 people set
Yeah,
out.
in my paper, 600. I don't know
Yes.
about yours. Maybe we have different
Six-
versions.
600 people set out on Sunday, March 7, but didn't get so far. No, didn't get far before Alabama
I do
State.
believe we have different papers, okay? There is no soul in my paper.
but didn't get far before Alabama state troopers wielding nightsticks, and tear gas rushed the group at the Edmund Pettus Bridge and beat them back to Selma. The brutal scene was captured on television and
Raging.
enraging many Americans, and drawing civil rights and religious leaders of all sides to Selma
Faith.
to Selma in protest.
Okay. Any question about this?
I have one.
Welding whips.
Wielding.
Whips.
Whips, yeah.
Wielding.
Same.
Do you remember there used to be a TV character? I think her name was Tiazinha. I don't know. This is very old. Yes.
Maybe you don't know what Galega is, but okay.
Okay, I don't know. Tiazinha was on national TV. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Anyway, she would always show up wearing sexy clothes, and she always had a whip in her hand.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah. So the state troopers, yes, they would be holding whips. Nightsticks are those big, long sticks that police officers usually use to attack protesters and beat them up, and tear gas that makes people cry, understand? They just rush the group back, understand?
Okay.
Back? What
Yes.
I was mute.
What is the question, Regina?
Beat them back.
Yes.
I don't listen. I didn't listen.
Beat them. I'm writing for you. Is send them back to Selma by means of violence. I can't see if I'm writing correctly because it was behind that. No, Selma. Yeah, there was a bar. Selma, okay? By means of violence. Yes. In English, there is a bad expression that would describe exactly what happened on this bridge. I have seen the footage, the movies about it, okay? Because it was recorded by American TV. And this created a lot of protests all over the United States because it was really violent. You could say that the police beat the shit out of the protesters on that day. Okay, that means beat the shit out of them means beat them very badly. Understand? Okay? Maybe it sounds like a bad expression, but it's commonly used to say that someone was badly beaten. It's quite common to be heard in movies that take place inside of prison. You know, when prisoners attack another prisoner and beat the shit out of him. Yes, they use it a lot. Okay, like Fulano or John Doe is not feeling very well. Why not? Oh, they beat the shit out of him last night. I mean, they spanked him a lot. Okay. Any other question about this part or no?
No.
Understand this part here. Religious leaders of all faiths.
Yes.
Is religions?
Yes, of all the different religions. Yes, not only Catholics, Protestant, okay? Even the Jewish, the Arabic, the Muslim, you know, everyone protested because it was really, really bad, okay? I think you can still find it. If you Google it, you'll find at YouTube, probably. It's old, but gold. A historic mark. Tiago, can you read this part for us up to, let me find, here, Congress.
Okay. King himself led another attempt on March 9, but turned the marchers around when the state troopers again blocked the road. That night, a group of segregationists beat another protester, the young white minister James Reeb, to death. Alabama state officials, led by Wallace, tried to prevent the march from going forward, but a U.S. District Court judge ordered them to permit it. President Lyndon Johnson also blocked the marchers.
Backed
The marchers, going on national television to pledge his support and lobby for passage of new voting rights legislation he was introducing in Congress.
Okay. Observe that when they say only King himself, okay, they always refer to Martin Luther King, right? Mm-hmm. Because the guy is so famous in the United States that people can use only King. But be careful not to confuse with the King, who is Elvis Presley, okay?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yes. If they say the King, usually they're talking about Presley. And King is Martin Luther King Jr., okay?
Okay.
Any question about these guys? See, they killed another guy, but this time the guy was not even black. He was a young minister, okay?
Beckett.
Erika, I'm sure you understand this word. What do you have to do sometimes when you used to work? Didn't you have to back up your system or something like this? Yes, this is a verb, to back. The past tense is backed. Okay, the idea is to provide.
Yes.
Provide support, okay? So the idea of back up is you just provide support in case you lose everything, understand? That's the idea. The president backed the marchers.
Okay.
He was for, okay? Have you ever heard this? He was for the marchers. Because it is common to say, are you for or against? Okay, I'm for means I'm in favor. Okay, he was for the marchers. He backed the marchers. It's the same. Any question, Tiago, Claudia, Isa, Regina? No? No, Claudia?
Pledge.
To pledge, okay? He appeared on TV, the president going on national TV to pledge his support, to demonstrate his support, okay? To show the people that he, the president of the United States, who was white, okay? He supported this march, okay? And he lob in English is also a verb, okay? To lobby. Lobby for passage of the new voting rights legislation he was introducing. That means he made a campaign, he lobbied, okay? This is a regular verb in English, okay? In Portuguese, I'm not sure if this is used as a verb. In English, it is possible. There are many strange verbs in English, okay? Lobby is one of them, but there are verbs like in business English, to lobby, to FedEx, okay, to DHL, okay, they use the name of the company as a verb. Can you believe this? To fax, it's not necessary to say to send a fax. You can say to fax to email. All these are verbs. Okay? And they are all irregular verbs. Okay? Lobbied. Okay? FedExed. Okay? And this one is very funny. DHL. What?
No, I was just asking how to spell it, but you already did it. Thank you.
Yeah, DHL. Okay? In business English, we use this all the time. I will FedEx you your documents tomorrow. Okay? No, can you DHL it, please? I think it's better for me. Okay? Some people prefer DHL. Some people like FedEx. Okay? And they are used so often in business English that instead of saying, I'm going to send your documents by FedEx or by a courier company, they say, I'll FedEx you. Okay? Maybe the Americans that created this were from Recife, okay? They transformed things there. Oh, te FedExar, okay?
To e-mail.
E-mail. DHL.
Bullying, okay?
Yeah, I think it's possible. Okay, any other question or no?
No.
Okay, so finally, after like almost 3 attempts, March started. Okay? So who's gonna read now? Regina, some 2,000 people.
Some 2,000 people set out from Selma on March 21st, protected by
Very good.
USA Armed Troops and Alabama National Guard forces that Johnson had ordered under federal control. After walking some 12 hours a day.
You cannot even praise, okay?
12 hours a day and sleeping in fields along the way. They reached Montgomery on March 25.
You started out so well. I think I should not have said anything, okay? Because you got lost. Oh, yeah, I was surprised when you said on March 21st. Yeah, very good. You remember that for dates, we only use ordinal numbers, which was fantastic. But then,
2,000.
yeah, 2,000 hours, okay, instead of 12.
Oh, teacher, forgot them.
And then you ended up saying on March 25 is 25th.
No, 25th.
Fifth.
25th.
Yeah, fifth, like
Oh
Fifth
my
Avenue.
gosh. Yes, 5th.
We only use, for British English or American English, we only use ordinal numbers to give the date. The difference between American English and British English is that in England, I think it's more complicated, but they would say on the 25th of March. That's how they would say it. Okay. On the 25th of March, and American English on March 25th. Okay? I think it's easier than American English. Any question about this part or no?
No.
See, they walked about 12 hours a day, okay? It took them almost 4 days to get there. They slept in fields along the sides of the roads, okay? But they made it, okay?
Teacher, is troops?
Yes.
Troops?
National troops, yes. With very rare exceptions, you always pronounce oo, okay? I know maybe only 1 or 2 exceptions. Like except for Rumble, everybody says blood. But Rumble, his move He said, "Oh, you did the first blood." But Stallone is an exception. I don't know. Okay. Yeah, the guy has a problem. Okay, when he speaks, it's real. All right. He could only speak when he was 8 or 9 years old. He had a speaking problem because his mother had some problems to deliver him when she was laboring him, when he was being brought into this world, and they had to use forceps, you know?
Oh God, I hate those
Yes,
kind.
yes. But the doctor, I think, was not very skilled, and he pressed this part of the cheeks of Stallone very badly, and he practically destroyed the facial muscles. Understand? Because he pulled the baby by the cheeks. And then I read in a book, Stallone had difficulties to speak until he was almost 8 or 9. That's why he. Yes. Okay? He could only. He started speaking by the age of 10, practically. Okay? So he said blood instead of blood. But everybody says blood. Okay? But all the words like mood, stood, troop, the sound is oo. Every time I hear oo sound in English, I don't, even if it's a new word, it's not even necessary to ask how do you spell. Because the only way to say oo is oo. Understand?
Yeah.
No, it's true. Oh. If you say boot, it's different of but. Oh. See, mood is different of mud. Soon.
Sun.
Yeah. Sun. Here comes the sun. Na, 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 na. Okay? Like, mom. Oh no, I should write moon. Yeah, the moon and mom. I think it's M, okay? Mom. I think it's M here, moon. I think, I'm not sure, I forgot. But that's not important. The important thing, huh? Is it N or M? N, thank you.
I think N.
Yes. But mom is M.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. We say mom, but we say moon. My focus was only in the O and the single O, okay? It's different sound. The O, okay? You say oo. So we say troops.
Troops.
Okay, who's gonna read now? Who hasn't read yet? Everybody has read? Can we start again?
No, I didn't read.
You didn't read? Poor Claudia, I'm sorry.
Tonight I didn't. I read yesterday.
No, I'm sorry. So it's your chance. You have your 5 minutes of fame, okay? You can read.
Oh, thank you.
Enjoy, girl.
So,
Nearly
50,000 support.
a little bit more. I think that when I email the material, maybe my email has a problem. It's altering the files, understand? Especially numbers.
It's too much zeros.
Please, could you
I will FedEx the
enlarge
material.
the text?
I will FedEx. Enlarge more.
More.
It's 150% already.
It's for Carol. She isn't here.
Carol is not here.
We need more.
It's 125. You need more. Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay, let's say, I think bigger than this, I won't fit in the window. Okay, is it better now? Can you see it now?
Yes.
Yes, see, it wasn't just me.
Nearly 50,000 supports.
I want to see what's going to be the excuse now. Okay.
Supporters black and white met the marchers in Montgomery, where they gathered in front of the state capitol to hear King and other speakers, including Ralph Bunche, winner of the 1950 Nobel Peace Prize, address the crowd. No tide of racism can stop us, King proclaimed from the building steps as viewers from around the world watched the historic moment on television.
Raquel,
Yes.
Claudia reminded me of something I was going to tell you, but I forgot. When you were reading your part, you said state capital.
Capital.
Yes. Be careful not to confuse state capital with state capital. We are talking about two different things.
Didn't know.
Yes. You read capital, and I was, oops, and I let you go, and I was going to talk about later. I just forgot.
Okay.
What is the difference between state capital and state capital? Do you know or you don't know?
No, I don't know.
No.
Capital is the kind of Congress.
Is the exactly, Claudia? Capitol with the O is the Congress building, the state Congress and the federal Congress. They call it Capitol building. Okay, and capital with the A is the capital of the state.
The state. Okay.
Yes. So the state capital is always a building, and it's very interesting for the ones that have been to the United States. I don't know if you have paid attention. If you have ever seen a photograph of the state capital in Washington, D.C., the same prototype of the main part is all the other Capitol buildings all over the United States. I think they use the same project, the same layout. But there is only one interesting point. No Capitol building can be taller than the Capitol in Washington, D.C. Because, yes, that is the highest, most important place. So you can build a Capitol as tall as the one in Washington, but it cannot be 1 inch taller than the one in Washington. But it's very funny. If I tell you this, you're going to say, teacher, you're crazy. But it's true. No, when I was accepted to go to university, my university was going to be in Washington. I was so excited because I thought, wow, I'm going to live where the president lives, okay? And somebody told me, not really. I said, no, Washington, yes, but you are accepted by University of Washington, state, not DC. And then I was, it's a different one? Yeah. 40 years ago, I didn't know it was different. You have Washington, D.C., which is the capital. That's on the East Coast, not far from New York, okay? Very close to Philadelphia. That's the Washington, D.C., District of Columbia. And you have Washington State, which is on the other side of the United States, border with Canada on the West Coast. And then I thought, yes, two distinct places. And then I thought, okay, no problem. I was accepted by an American university. It's okay, I'm going to move to the United States. And then I moved. I think about 1 week later, I was just traveling around to get to know the area. And I drove, I was on a bus, I rode in front of what? A Capitol building.
It was the same.
No, and I thought, I'm crazy.
Looks
I'm
like.
No, it was the same. Understand? And I thought, something is wrong. I am in the wrong Washington. Understand? Because, and I didn't know about this. But can you believe that all the buildings are exactly the same? If you Google images of Capitol buildings.
Yes, I'm already doing.
Yes, they are all the same. It's the same layout. And I was, oh my gosh, I flew to the wrong state, okay? I'm in Warsaw, I'm in the capital. The president, the White House must be there. It took me like a few days to realize that I was at the right place and that all Capitol buildings were the same, okay?
Yes.
So be careful with this, okay? Capital,
Okay.
capital, capital, okay? Yes. If I say, let's visit the Capitol, it's always the government building, okay? Where the Congress is based, all right?
Okay.
Any other question about this part or no? You see, we use the verb to address, okay? Like Ralph Bunch addressed the crowd. When we talk to a group of people, we say to address them, okay? We use it as a verb, to address. No tide of racism can stop us. This is a good, interesting expression. No tide. Do you know what's a tide?
Yes,
In Recife, it's very good to see the low tides and low tides, okay? Because when you have the low tides in the ocean, you can see all the reefs that gave the name to the city of Recife, okay? Because of the reefs, the coral reefs that you have there. You can see them very well when it's the low tide. When the tide is high, it's difficult, okay? There is one of my favorite places that I really like visiting in Europe. It's called Mount Saint Michel. That is Capuchinos Island, okay? That is surrounded. Yeah, it's a sort of an island. Because if you get there at the low tide, I think it's just a village. Yeah, it's a mountain, okay? Because it's a medieval construction. You can Google it, see how beautiful it is. Mount Saint Michel. It's a little far from Paris, but it's worth a visit. But anyway, I arrived in the morning. It was the low tide, so you could see very well the entire area.
Yeah, it looked like something of a movie or.
That's amazing place. And then when you get the high tide, you realize it's an island because you are all surrounded by water. Understand?
2 kilometers. 2 kilometers, the tire.
200.
200.
Yeah, it's not near. It's a little far. It's in Normandy. Okay?
Yes. Yes.
I took the TGV, the Train de Grande Vitesse, is the fast train, you know, to go from Paris to a place near Mont Saint Michel, and then there is a bus ride. I think it's worth a visit. It's a medieval cathedral or whatever you call it. There are some amazing restaurants on the way up. To get to the top, you go circulating the mountain, and then you get to the top where you have this monastery, okay? It's beautiful. Another question about this? No?
No.
Could you guys please finish reading this? On Monday, I'll just check the answers with you, okay? And we'll do the reading conversation, okay? Because there is only one more paragraph, all right?
Okay.
We can call it for the night. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, okay?
Thank you.
Enjoy yourselves as much as possible. I'm glad to see that Isa is always changing the pictures. Why don't you put the photograph of my favorite place in Recife? I love that that old prison that is being recycled.
Next week.
Yeah, okay, good. I love that place. I don't know why. It's not very pretty, but I like it. I think it was an interesting idea. Okay. Bye-bye, guys. Have a nice weekend.
Bye.
Bye, teacher. Bye, guys.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thank you,
You
bye,
too.
everyone.
Thank you.
See you on Monday,
Have
okay?
a
Bye-bye.
nice weekend, guys.
You too, Regina. Take care.
Thank you.